You've probably seen them everywhere, in art, in yoga studios, even in ancient texts. But what if these beautiful, intricate designs, these Vedic symbols were actually more than just decoration? What if they were a kind of visual language, a code designed to communicate the deepest secrets of the cosmos? Well, today, we're going to decode that language.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. What if a simple geometric shape wasn't just some abstract doodle, but a condensed formula for universal well-being? A kind of map of cosmic energy that you could practically hold in your hand. That's the powerful idea we're diving into. These symbols are like keys, and we're about to see what kinds of incredible doors they unlock.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the geometry of auspiciousness, and it's locked inside a really famous and pretty misunderstood symbol. Then, we're going to tune in and listen for the sound of creation itself. After that, we'll check out some objects of sacred ritual that literally bring the cosmos into our homes. And finally, we'll see how these symbols become emblems of a culture designed to be lived day in and day out.
Okay, so first things first, and this is a really crucial point. The ancient Vedic sages, they weren't just doodling. They created this incredibly sophisticated system to pack immense amounts of knowledge. We're talking philosophy, science, spirituality, into single powerful symbols. They're like visual distillations of wisdom. All right, let's get into our first deep dive. We are going to tackle one of the most ancient and, in modern times, one of the most charged and misunderstood symbols in the entire world. The swastika. And to really get what it means, we have to strip away all the modern baggage and go right back to the source.
You know, the name itself tells the real story. The word swastika comes straight from Sanskrit. It's a mashup of su, which means good, and asti, which means being. So its literal, fundamental meaning is simply well-being. It's a symbol that was literally born from a wish for the good of all. And that core idea of well-being just radiates outwards into everything else. It stands for all things auspicious and good. On a map, it represents the 4 cardinal directions. Cosmically, it's a diagram of the universe's fundamental energy cycles. And spiritually, it symbolizes the 4 sacred texts, the Vedas, and the 4 stages of a fulfilling life. It's really a complete model for a good existence. Now, we absolutely have to address the elephant in the room, and this makes the difference crystal clear. The ancient Vedic swastika, the Dakshināvarta, moves in a clockwise direction, just like the sun's path, and it signifies life and goodness. The hateful Nazi emblem, the Hakenkreuz, is typically counterclockwise. It was a 20th century corruption, an inversion of the design for a truly destructive ideology. They are not the same thing, not in direction, not in meaning, and not in intent. The difference is literally night and day.
And if you want to know just how universal this symbol of well-being once was, just look at this quote. Long before its corruption in the 20th century, the swastika was a global symbol. You could find it in cultures from ancient Rome all the way to China. It wasn't owned by any one culture, it was part of our shared human heritage of seeking good fortune.
So we're moving from the geometry of well-being to the sound of creation. The Vedic texts suggest something truly profound, that before there was matter, before there was even light, there was a sound, a primal vibration that the entire universe just bloomed from.
Now, this idea of creation starting from a sound might actually ring a bell. A lot of traditions have a similar concept. I mean, this famous passage from the Bible speaks of a word that was there at the very beginning. Well, the Vedic sages had a specific name and a specific sound for that very same idea. They called this sound Om. And this is where things get really fascinating, where ancient philosophy and modern science start having a conversation. Thousands of years later, you have astrophysicists studying the cosmic microwave background radiation, that faint afterglow of the Big Bang, and they've actually referred to its lingering vibrations as the music of creation. It's just an incredible parallel, isn't it?
So Om is seen as that primordial, self-existent sound, the vibration that kicked everything off. The symbol itself is a visual map of the entire cosmic cycle. You have Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the transformer. It's not just a sound, it's the signature of creation, existence, and dissolution, all wrapped into one.
But, okay, how do you make a cosmic concept like that tangible, something you can experience? Well, you use the shankha, or the conch shell. When you blow into it, it makes this powerful, resonant hum that's believed to mimic that primal sound of Om. In rituals, hearing that sound is meant to purify the whole environment and announce the victory of good over evil.
And get this sacredness of the conch goes beyond the spiritual in some pretty surprising ways.
According to ancient Ayurvedic texts, a special type called the Modi Shanka is said to have medicinal properties. If you store water in it overnight, the water absorbs these properties, and then you can use it to treat skin problems, help with stomach issues, and even wash your eyes with it to improve vision. It's this fascinating blend of the spiritual and the physical.
The conch shell is a perfect example of how a totally natural object can become sacred. And that brings us right to our third topic, other objects used in sacred rituals. Here, we'll see how totally normal, everyday items like a water pitcher or an oil lamp get transformed into these profound symbols, with each one telling a story about the universe.
Okay, so take the kalash. Looks like a simple water pitcher, right? But in a ritual, it becomes a model of the entire cosmos. The water inside, that represents the primordial oceans of creation. The leaves spilling out symbolize the five senses and prosperity. The coconut sitting on top is the Godhead itself. Even the physical parts of the pitcher are mapped to the Divine Trinity. It's the whole universe in a single object.
And it's the same with the Deepak, the oil lamp. It is so much more than just a source of light. Its flame symbolizes the victory of knowledge over ignorance. And there's a beautiful philosophical lesson in there too. The flame consumes the impurities, the oil, the wick, but the light it creates stays perfectly pure.
So we've gone from cosmic geometry to ritual objects. For our last section, we're going to bring it even closer to home, right to ourselves. We're looking at emblems of a culture. These are symbols that aren't just meant to be seen on an altar, but are actually designed to be lived, to be worn, and to be embodied every single day.
And here we see this powerful duality. There's one symbol for the mind and another for our actions. The shika, which is a knot of hair right on the crown of the head, represents a higher intellect. It's like a spiritual antenna connecting you to cosmic consciousness. And then there's the sutra, a sacred thread worn across the body, which symbolizes all the moral duties and responsibilities you carry through life. It's head and heart, thought and deed, all right there.
Now, let's zoom in on that sacred thread, the sutra. It isn't just a single strand of thread. It's actually made of 9 individual threads, all knotted together. And that number, 9, is no accident. So why 9? What's so special about that number?
It's because each of those 9 threads represents a specific virtue that you're supposed to strive for. They are industriousness, humility, austerity, orderliness, cooperation, wisdom, integrity, responsibility, and courage. So wearing the sutra is meant to be this constant physical reminder to live by these 9 principles, turning an abstract code of conduct into a daily lived experience.
So as we pull it all together, you can really see that these symbols aren't just a random collection of cool designs. They actually form a complete interlocking system. It's a system that connects the vast geometry of the cosmos with the primal sound of creation, brings it all into our daily lives through ritual, and then finally integrates it into our very being through personal discipline.
You know, at the end of the day, these symbols were never meant to be relics stuck in a museum. They are a living language of principles. Things like well-being, cosmic connection, knowledge over ignorance, and living a virtuous life. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. In our complex, modern world, which of these timeless principles can we carry forward and actually live today?